A consumer persona is just a semi-fictional representation of an ideal account holder that is based upon two things: market research, but also real-world data that is applicable to your unique marketplace, to your unique community, to your account holders. And right now, the vast majority of financial brands define their market segments or audiences, if you will, through demographic data: age, sex, education, occupation, income, so on and so forth. But this isn't good enough. You can't emotionally or even empathetically connect with data, with ones and zeros. And I would take this even to another level. The idea of market segments, or even what some call audiences, there's an opportunity to transform this thinking to the next level and really begin to think of this as community or digital community. That's because community transcends borders and boundaries, zip codes, cities, states. Community now resides in the minds of people. And when it comes to personas, we have found that almost 70% of financial brands have not defined consumer personas. And that's a problem, because without personas, there can be no empathy. There can be no digital empathy. Even among the financial brands who have reported having defined personas, we have learned through our diagnostic assessments that the vast majority of these financial brands are not applying the personas through their digital growth strategies. Remember, no personas, no empathy, but the same is true. No application of personas, no empathy either. Whenever I'm working with a financial brand and guiding them through a diagnostic assessment, we dive into questions about who their ideal, not just audience, but their ideal community is that they would like to attract and grow. And I typically get three responses. We want the students. So we want those who are 16 to 22-year-olds. We want the prime lenders, those who are 22, 23, up to the 40, 45-year-olds. And then we want the depositors, those who are 40, 45, upwards to 65 to 70 years old. There's a slight problem here. If financial brand leaders are saying they want all of these groups, that's basically everyone who is 16 to 65 with money in their pocket and a heartbeat. In other words, they haven't really answered the question, who is the ideal community that you're looking to create value for? You cannot be all things to all people. If you try to do so, you're going to become nothing to no one, especially when it comes to digital growth strategy. This type of thinking, trying to be all things to all people, is rooted in the past. It's rooted in legacy systems, particularly mass marketing strategies. If you go back and you look at TV or radio or print or direct mail, financial brands used to send out one message to many people in a local marketplace. Digital, of course, it provides an opportunity to begin to segment not just audiences, but segment communities down into smaller and more well-defined groups with very specific needs. But financial brand leaders struggle going down this path. They have a fear of missing out or FOMO. They think, if we target our digital growth strategies around this one particular community or this one particular group of people, what about everyone else? What are we missing out on? Growth is found by saying no and not yes. I think about our own situation here at the Digital Growth Institute. For the past 21 years, we have been focused exclusively on educating and coaching financial brand leaders to help inspire human transformation within their financial brand so that they can maximize their digital growth potential. After writing Banking on Digital Growth, people were asking, can this be applied in other markets? Can this be applied in other verticals? This thinking I shared in the book? Absolutely. I would be lying to you if I told you the entrepreneurial mind in me didn't want to go down that path and start to pursue some of these other opportunities. But growth is found by saying no more than yes. And that's where personas come back into play. Personas provide clarity into who we're going to create value for. So how can you practically elevate your digital empathy through consumer personas? Better yet, we're going to turn this around just a bit for this particular episode. What are the common reasons, the common pitfalls of why personas fail? And as a result, financial brands fail to communicate digital empathy. I keep coming back to this point of communication because communication is one of the key elements to establishing and expanding trust in a digital world. Trust is the currency that we trade on. Trust is the sum of what we say and what we do, words and actions, words being communication, actions also being communication as well, by just not saying anything. So here are 5 red flags, or 5 what we'll call persona pitfalls to watch out for when planning and defining, but also applying personas to elevate your digital empathy. Number 1, projecting your perspective onto the persona. Because intrinsically, we believe other people are more like us than they actually are. It's easy to project our own reality, our own experiences, our belief systems and structures onto other people, and in the case of personas, onto them. Persona pitfall number 2 to watch out for is describing only buyer demographic data. When it comes to persona development, one of the biggest mistakes that I see marketers make is to profile their account holders or even their prospective account holders with just demographic traits: age, income, sex, location, instead of going deeper into their questions, their concerns, their hopes, their dreams. They look at it from the lens of just the big data sets, which brings us to pitfall number 3, lacking thick data. If big data is what people do, or in the particular case of personas, who they are, it's the thick data that informs why they do what they do, why they act the way they act, why they think the way they think, why they believe and feel the way they feel. The opportunity is to go all in on people, to ask, to listen, to learn, to get really good at asking good questions, to listen to what people say, and then to learn through observation, because what people say and what people do doesn't always add up. Now, you can go all in on people with qualitative one-on-one interviews, whether that be at a front line with your salespeople to gain their perspective, but you can also go all in on people with digital secret shopping studies, something that we conduct frequently here at the Digital Growth Institute. Because when we conduct these secret shopping studies, we're learning why people feel the way they feel about a particular digital experience. The very first 2 questions that we ask in a digital secret shopping study when someone comes to a website is, based upon what you see, do you feel like you can trust this financial brand? And how does what you see make you feel? And the answers that they share, the emotions that they share, directly go on to influence the potential for these particular people to convert going forward into the future. Which brings us to persona pitfall number 4. Developing too many personas. What we're looking for here when it comes to persona development are just common patterns across market segments within a particular community or digital community. But we also need to keep in mind the resources that we have available as a financial brand to take action to then apply that knowledge. And I think of one organization that I had advised years ago. They had 57 different personas that they had identified. But in reality, when assessing and diagnosing their digital strategies and their communication on their website, their email, their ads, they were using 0 out of those 57 personas. So the pro tip here is to start this journey by developing 1, 2, no more than 3 different personas that you can take action on to inform your communication strategies. And then finally, persona pitfall number 5 is relying on focus groups. I did a podcast on this a long time ago, and why there are fallacies in focus groups. Focus groups are flawed because they often lead to groupthink. This is where digital secret shopping studies that focus on usability and more deeply the emotional experience, the lead experience that people have when shopping for a financial product. These one-on-one conversations provide far more valuable insights than focus groups that tend to end in groupthink, where 1 or 2 people take over the conversation, then everyone else kind of just nods their head in agreement.